That concludes questions for oral answer. I call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
Gambling Amendment Bill number 2, interrupted debate on third reading.
When this legislation was last being debated, Dr Parmjit Palmer was speaking and she has 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Thank you,
Dr
Mr.
Parmjit
Speaker.
Palmer.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to continue my call to speak on the Gambling Amendment Bill number 2, third reading. I was saying that the amendments in the bill are consistent with the intent of the Act, which is to minimize harm from gambling. On the number of pokie machines, their numbers have actually decreased significantly since 2003. National government is aware of issues that arise due to gambling, and national government is always making sure and putting in provisions in place to reduce the harm that can be caused by gambling. I also acknowledged that the behaviors of some Class 4 gambling societies has not been as it should be. Mr. Speaker, the government recently announced a range of reforms to Class 4 gambling. Other improvements to the regulation of Class 4 gambling will be made through a new amendment bill, which was introduced in May 2014. The changes will give the public better information on grant-making decisions and reduce the opportunities for personal gain from conflicts of interest. Mr. Speaker, SOP 454 adds value, but we do not support SOP 478, which amends Clause 5, and do not support SOP 84, as this SOP has similarities to the Gambling Harm Reduction Amendment Bill, a member's bill, the Flevel Bill that sought to amend the Gambling Act 1993, the Parent Act. The Flevel Bill was passed with some amendments in December 2013. Mr. Speaker, clauses 22, 22AA, 40, 41, new 41A, and 42 are now already in effect. For Clause 5, the committee report on the bill did not support this change, and the amendment was deleted from the bill. For Clause 28 appears to be targeted at an issue that arose around the time when the SOP was tabled, when some gaming machines were being placed in open areas of venues so that gamblers could smoke while playing the machines. So this is not relevant anymore. Clauses 47 and 52 are about increasing the penalties for not using gaming funds for community purposes and for those managing venues for breaching conflict of interest provisions. Mr. Speaker, there is no justification for these increases. Mr. Speaker, the definition of the word gaming machine is amended, and this is to clarify items that do not need the same level of regulation as a gaming machine. The amendments to the Act will make sure that gambling operators know their obligations. Like the venue manager rather than the holder of the venue license will be required to display a notice in the gambling area advising customers that the venue has a policy for identifying problem gamblers. All these measures are important as most of these cases with problem of addiction to gambling don't recognize it themselves. There are multiple steps to inhibit the action of gambling if it is found to be a problem for someone. One of the main actions in place is the operators are required to keep records of every single person prohibited from their venues, as well as having to provide the Secretary of Internal Affairs with any information on a person if it is required. And this information is to be provided in such a way that the privacy of the individual isn't breached, yet there is sufficient information to track down or locate this person. And the good thing about this is that the exclusion of problem gamblers only restricts them from accessing the gambling area rather than the entire venue. So this also allows the person to not be restricted as such for other activities. For gambling licensees and applicants, the conflicts of interest safeguards will be for all persons making decisions regarding gaming machine grants, rather than just the select few key people in management. The suitability criteria for those applying for a license to operate non-casino gaming machines will include relevant and serious crimes and any other offenses under other legislation, as currently it is restricted only to crimes involving dishonesty. This will make sure that the operators have the credibility and understand the importance of enforcement of the legislation. Mr. Speaker, given this bill is about making sure that we look after those who can get in the trap of gambling addiction, I support the bill and commend the bill to the House. Again, Mr. Speaker, as I'm not a part of this committee considering this bill, it's been a great privilege to be able to make a contribution to this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The next call is a split call. I call Denise Roach, 5 minutes.
Thank you.